In this video, we're going to take a look at the Senior Companion Animal Record Book. Now that you have your record book printed and you have the extra pages that you might need, we're going to go ahead and start writing the information down. You will see while we go through this book that yellow indicates items that you should be able to do at the beginning of your project. Green are items that need to be up to date in order to show at fair. And blue are items that you should not complete until after fair. Blue items need to be completed in order to turn your book in at the end of the 4-H year. Let's go ahead and go back to the first page. Here, what you're going to start with is the species and how many years you've been in the project. That includes the current year. So if I was completing this for cat, I'd write that. And let's say this is my first year. So we'll go ahead and start with that. Next, we're going to go and write our first and last name here, your 4-H club, the county, for us it's Larimer County, your birth date, and then your age as of December 31st. Sometimes this is called your 4-H age. What you're going to do is fill out this page and print it out at the beginning of the year. This is another reason why it's really good to have your final turn-in book kind of set up, because what you can do is fill this out, print it, and sign this project agreement. Project agreements do need to be signed at the beginning of the year because this is an agreement between you and your guardian for the project. The next page is going to go over your goals. As a senior, you will need to select 2 goals and then have 2 to-do plans. Make sure that your goals are SMART goals. This is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Once you get done with your goals, don't forget that you need to have a name and phone number of a veterinarian. This is so that you have the information on hand if something were to happen to your animal and that you needed to contact somebody quickly. The next page we're going to go over is equipment, supplies, inventory. This one you're going to start out with in the beginning of the year, keep adding information, and then you'll have an ending of the year as well. It is unlikely that you can fit everything that you need to on this one page. So this is a situation in which you should use Excel or Word or another page where you can write the information down. So when you begin, this needs to be at the beginning of your project. Fill out all of the information that you can of the equipment and supplies that you have. And then after fair, before you turn in the book, you'll be doing this ending portion. Items include everything from taking care of your animal to how you feed them, where they live, if they have litter boxes, what you use for them, all of the information that relates to your animal. Next page is going to be animal inventory. This is one that you'll start out with. Let's say you already have a cat, and we're going to name this cat Drillbit. And I'm going to fill out all of this information because he's a cat that we already have. But let's say in a couple of months, we decide to adopt a kitten or an adult cat. So then I'm going to fill out this information when we have that adult cat. Let's say that the cat's name is Pidge. And then I would continue to fill out this information. Go ahead and print extra sheets if you have more than 3 animals. The next page is the health record. Health record is extremely important and it is not an optional page. Health for your animal includes things like supplements, treating for preventative things, so making sure you're trimming their nails or taking care of them. And it also includes things like vaccinations, it includes items deworming or heartworm prevention and routine cleaning. It's unlikely that all of the times that you did a health item will fit on just this page. So once again, you're going to need additional pages. Do not leave any of these areas blank. As you can tell in this example, when they trimmed the animal's nails, there isn't going to be a lot number or expiration date since we're not using a drug. So please make sure to write NA on the blank lines. The next page, we're going to go over the health expense record. This is where you're going to record any of the expenses that are associated with the previous page, which was the health record. Please make sure to write the project up top. Even if you only have one project in the companion animal record, you still need to write that project. So for this example, I'm going to write cat. And as an example for something that I would purchase that is a health related item, I'm going to write that we got nail clippers for him. So on 2/1/22, I bought nail clippers, and we bought those from PetSmart. And those nail clippers cost $8.23 after taxes. Now, it can be really tricky thinking that you might just need to fill out this line because you only have one project. You really need to fill out all the way to the total cost. So $8.23 does need to be carried over to this side. At the end of the year, you need to fill out the total expenses at the bottom. So don't forget to carry all those expenses down, add them properly, and to write information on the other side. Writing a draft really helps because you can check the math and then you can have other people check the math as well. The next page, we are going to go into feed expense. Feed expense is self-explanatory in that this is what you are feeding your animal. So let's say on 2/5/22, I bought canned food for our cat from Pooter Pet and Feed Supply. And the amount of canned food that we got for the cat was 24 cans. And we paid $48 for those cans. Now, don't forget that you need to put the project up here as well. And you will need to carry that information over to this area. Don't forget, at the end of the year, you need to fill out these feed expense at the bottom as well. So if you're showing your animal, once again, green means it needs to be up to date to show your animal at fair, but blue, the total amounts, that's not done until after fair when you turn in your record book at the end of your 4-H year. The next category we're going to take a look at is other expense records. Once again, we're going to follow the same pattern, cat, and fill out the information. Don't forget to carry it and to do your totals at the end of the year. The next page is income record, and income can come in a form of a bunch of different ways. Maybe you are doing chores and you're using those chores to help pay for your animal's items. Maybe you showed at the fair or another show and you had cash premiums. So that information does need to go on here. Once again, just keep it up to date for fair, and then you need to go ahead and complete all these totals before you turn this book in at the end of your 4-H year. Financial summary is a really awesome document in the record books, and it is something that can really help you with the skills that you need as you grow and as you have animals of your own. Now, don't forget to carry all of the information over from the other pages and make sure to list your project. You're going to go ahead and need to carry over information here and do the total for all projects on this side. Make sure to do all of the calculations. Once again, it's really good to have somebody take a look at these just to make sure you got your numbers right. The next page is going to be involvement records. Involvement records are the ways that you can be involved in 4-H or also with the leadership. This doesn't need to just be 4-H. This could be something that you do in your school or another organization that you're very involved in. So make sure that if you have more items than fit here, you're using additional pages. It's really important to do that and to make a record of the things that you are doing. For fair, this just needs to be up to date, but you will need to complete it before you turn your book in. The second to last page is going to talk about story and pictures. Please make sure to take a look at what's required. So for this one, you need a minimum of 4 pictures, and they need a descriptive caption. I would highly recommend that you date all of the photos so that you know when they were taken, and that when you refer back to that information, you have a better understanding of what was going on. The next is going to be your 4-H story. I would recommend that you take a look at our other videos on doing a story. I have found that the process of writing a story can be really fun, and it helps you to think about all the things that you got to do that year. One of the ways that you can remember that and help give your story more information is by taking a look at your involvement records. As long as you're keeping these up to date, then you will remember what you need to put in your story. The very last page is not completed until you turn your book in. This is a goal reflection, so we need to go back to the previous page in which you did your goals. In the senior book, that is going to be page number 2. So look back, take a look at your goals, and then you can go ahead and complete the goal reflection. Once you're done with your entire book, you'll want to make sure that you save enough time before the due date to meet up with your leader so that they can sign your book. Typically, you would turn your book directly into your 4-H club leader, but do remember that you will need to ask them to sign your book, or you might need to check in with somebody else if they're unavailable. Once you're done with that, then you have your whole draft here. I recommend keeping these in a binder. Make sure you have lots of extra pages where you can quickly make extra notes about the items that you have, or that you can write ideas about things. We hope you enjoy this video.